What is love? What we're going to be talking about today. To really hone in on where this got sparked, last week I was just sitting here minding my own business, and I just felt this nudge, and I believe that was Holy Spirit. And he just said, "Do you love this person?" And immediate feeling was, that person. Like we want to hone in on that person. Okay, and then it just made my brain go, okay, what is love? And then it was all like, baby, don't hurt me no more. According to Hadaway, it's not hurtful. And I'm like, I agree with that one. Okay, okay. And then I went over to like the biblical aspect, Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self seeking, it isn't easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. And like, there's some more. And I was like, okay, I just had this deeper revelation. It was a shift. It was a shift. How many times have you heard? Because I've heard a lot of times, love is a choice. And I'm an actress. I can play the part, I can act the part, but I don't always feel part. So when I got asked that question of do you love this person, I wasn't feeling it. But according to Corinthians 13, those are all actions. And it just made me pause, be like, am I patient with this person? Am I kind? Am I keeping a record of wrongs? And kind of going through the list, and I was like, it made it actually easier for me because I don't have to feel patience in order to act out patience. I don't have to feel humble when I'm just choosing not to be boastful, you know? And then I was like, so what is this? So I looked up the I looked it up online on Google, the AI overview of what they're saying love is. And they say love is a complex emotion that can be difficult to define. Okay. It can refer to a feeling of strong attraction and emotional attachment, or to a set of behaviors and emotions that include intimacy, passion, and commitment. But let's go back to that. A feeling of strong attraction and emotional attachment. That, for so many years, is what I defined love for me. It was a feeling. And it just, in that moment, this all happened last week. Like I said, just minding my business, sitting on my couch. Holy Spirit's like, do you love this person? And then it's like, all these 30 years just came to mind of like, I have honed in with love being a feeling. And the reason why I've struggled with love with some people, like the thought of that, to say I love you to someone, it was because I didn't feel that. But really honing in biblically speaking, Corinthians 13, am I patient and kind with this person? Well, then I'm having a form of love to them. I don't have to feel this big ball of love energy in order to love somebody. Even though that's really easy to love somebody when you feel that. Like, can you just think of, I can just think of examples, like I can think, I used to be a nanny to these boys that are now grown ups, and they did nothing to earn my love. I love those boys. If anything were to happen to their parents, I would have been a mom. Okay, you're mine now. You're mine now. Like I love those boys. And it it was easy to. Those are to this day my precious baby angel pies. I don't care if they're grown men. They're my precious baby angel pies, okay? And I love them. And there's nothing they can do that's going to make me stop loving them. And so there's that. So you can imagine, I've never had my own flesh and blood, but I have had other people's kids and I love them easily. It's easy to love them. And then, so we have that aspect. And then I think of, can you recall a time where just somebody treated you so lovingly? You felt they worked for it. They worked for it. This isn't a child. Like it's a human that is just caring for you, taking notes of you. You feel so safe with them. And it's just so easy to love them because their intentionality is matching you at your intentionality. Their care is matching you at your care. Like you just feel love for this person. And that's easy. That's really easy to love somebody when it's like that, right? Because you're putting in the work that I'm putting in. Like, I'm seeing it. It's so easy to love you because you're doing what I want you to do, right? Now, what about the person over here? Now, this is speaking from a Christian perspective, right? Because God says to forgive and love as I have forgiven and loved you, right? So, if I want to be a Christian that's actually acting like Christ, I need to love everyone. And let's just put a pause on there for a second. To love does not mean to condone everything everybody's doing. I can treat you kind, but I can also have boundaries going, I love you, but I'm not going to put up with that. I love you, but I'm not going to hang out with you when you're doing that. So there's boundaries in that. But really, it was how many of us have been relying on love as a feeling. Like, oh, I feel love for you, so I love you. And it's like, that really isn't foolproof. Like, because what happens when that person really ticks you off? That feeling of love can just kind of fizzle. We're not, that, a feeling is not, a feeling is an indicator, it's not an anchor. A feeling is going, hey, we're feeling this. What are we going to do about it? And it's in those moments where we need to hold on to something more grounding. So, oh, I love you. So, what am I going to do behind that? I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to do all these lists of loving things with you, even when you're not doing what I want you to. Love is an action, and it is up to you to make the decision to take on the action of love, even when you're not feeling it. It's easy. It's so easy when we're feeling it because our body is just radiating love. I love you. You're amazing. I love you. You just did something I don't like. That feeling fades away. And now what are we left with? We're left with a choice. Are we going to be patient, kind, and all that list of love? Or are we going to wait for that feeling to come back in order to love that person? Feelings fade. Feelings are indicators, they're not anchors. Feelings don't anchor us down. Now, in that, we can choose for a while to have our feelings anchor us down, weigh us down. Be like, oh, well, this is how I'm feeling, and I'm spiraling down with all these negative emotions, and I'm letting that feeling, in a sense, kind of, you're grounding in the negative, right? But we don't want to take those feelings as an anchor, right? We can anchor into joy, that feeling stuff. But the thing is, no matter what you're feeling, feelings fade, actions anchor. So if I'm having a hard time with somebody who I'm supposed to be loving, what am I grounding into? For me, then, just going down the list, I'm grounding into patience. And a lot of times when I've worked to rewire my brain. You need to understand, I have not always been at this place. I used to be a very negative, you cross me, you're dead to me kind of attitude, right? So now I'm at a place, somebody really irritates me, and I just go, okay. Or I see something they're doing that I'm like, no, not me, not for me. But I can see that. But instead of just staying in that judgy place, I go, has there ever been a time where I've done something similar? Yeah, maybe not exactly that, but was I irrational? Was I rude? Was I selfish? Yeah, I've been there before. So it's in those moments I then hone in on compassion instead of judgment. You know, I don't like what I'm seeing. I am doing a little judgment there, but I'm transitioning that into compassion. I've also been there. And meeting somebody with love is going to be way more impacting than meeting somebody with judgment. And so it's in those moments I'm just like, okay, I can have compassion for this person. I've also been there. I've really had to work to get out of that place. And now what am I gonna do about it? Again, I do not condone poor behavior. Somebody's doing something that I don't like. I don't go, oh, I love you. It's okay. No boundaries. Hey, I love you, but that's not okay with me. This is what I need moving forward. Or hey, I love you. I know this is what you need to do right now to process, to do whatever, but I'm not going to partner with you in that. You can come and we can collaborate when you're done with that or whatever. Set a boundary. We can have compassion, we can have love, and we can have kindness, but that does not mean we are putting up with people's crap or abuse. Okay? There's boundaries in that. But all that to say, I'm always going to come back to that. We can love somebody, but we do not condone poor behavior. So, all of that, it's just taking a step back and going, okay, I've been there. Okay, I'm going to have compassion for you. If it's my space and my place to interject, maybe I can have some helpful tools to be like, hey, I know what it feels like to be where you're at right now because I was there. This really helped me when I was there. Or, hey, do you need some space or do you want to talk this out? Like there's moments like that, but sometimes somebody just played you dirty and there's no dialogue. There's no further dialogue. It's just, are you going to choose to ruminate on every angle as to how they played you dirty? Or are you just going to go, you know what? I don't have that feeling of love for you right now, but I'm going to make sure I'm not ruminating on it. Or when it comes to my mind, because it will, if somebody played you dirty, your brain will remind you of, hey, remember how this person did this in this kind of way? They suck, huh? I go, that's not a helpful thought. I have processed that out. Process it out, first off. We're not just suppressing our emotions, we're processing it out. We're going, that person did play me dirty. I don't like that. That didn't make me feel good. And moving forward, I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to be treating people like that, you know? So then I process it out. I get to a good place. Those thoughts still can come, but I'm going, that's not helpful. No, thank you. That's not helpful. No, thank you. So we move on. It's not that our memory is completely erased, but it's we choose not to ruminate on it. That memory comes back, yeah, you're right. That person does suck. And you know what? No, thank you. That's not helpful. No, thank you. I'm choosing to move on. And it's a process. It's a process that even I have to go through, right? Like I coach my clients on this and stuff, but it's still a process I even have to go through. Some days it's easier. It's like, not helpful, moving on. Other days it's like, you know what? I'm in this position right now because somebody played me dirty and I'm really not feeling good about it. Well, what am I going to do? Am I going to choose to ruminate on something that I can't control? Or am I going to choose to move forward? Go, yup, that did suck, but what am I going to do about it now? I'm going to do XYZ. I'm going to make sure that I'm surrounding myself with support. I'm going to make sure I, take note of red flags to not enter in again. And it's like, I do what I can to make a difference for me. I cannot change other people. Even my clients that come to me and stuff, I'm not changing them. They're putting in the work to change themselves. I could preach to you all day. I could preach all day to people, but still, I have to take the initiative to put in that work and to rewire my brain and to make that change in me. So, all that being said, what is love? It can be a feeling, but feelings fade. So, really, love is an action and it's a choice. You can choose to be lovely, loving, caring, or you can choose to just wait on a feeling that comes and goes. That's not really grounding, you know? Feelings are like the wind, it's gonna come, but you're not always gonna feel angry. You're not always gonna feel sad. You're not always gonna feel surprised. Your emotions constantly change. So to be grounded in feelings isn't very helpful. Feelings are indicators, though. Like, oh, I'm feeling this. If I'm feeling angry, that's warning. What needs are not being met right now? Like, oh, I'm actually really tired and I need to go to bed. Or, oh, I actually haven't eaten. Or, oh, actually, I haven't had a break in a while and my body's on overload. So, feelings are warnings, they're indicators. And it's, okay, what are you going to do about it now? Are you going to love? Are you going to process it out? What are you going to do? So, all that to say, it's a journey. Some days you're going to be really good at this, but also some days it's going to be harder, you know? And it's worth it though, because as we keep doing this, it becomes ingrained in us and it just becomes the new path. When I talk about rewiring, like I said, back in the day, I used to be like, you disappointed me, screw you, you're dead to me. next. Now I'm like, ooh, that disappointed me. You're not dead to me. I am going to have some boundaries around that. But I, as a Christian, am going to choose to love you. Easier said than done, but ultimately, it's a choice. It's not just what I'm feeling, but it's the actions I choose to take. So, all that being said, it's a lot. It's a lot when I say this, right? But it's an action that you get to choose to be a part of, or you don't have to choose it at all. But I suggest you do choose it.